Every story has a beginning, and sometimes that beginning is soaked in pain. The year was 1441, when the very first chains of a dark trade rattled on the shores of Africa. Before we go any further, I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Let's connect across oceans and time. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss the next story waiting for you. On the coast of Cabo Branco, where the Atlantic kissed the sands of present-day Mauritania, families lived in peace, fishermen cast their nets, traders exchanged goods, and children played by the shoreline under the blazing African sun. But that peace was broken the day sails appeared on the horizon. Ships unlike any they had seen before, bearing the Red Cross of Portugal, dropped anchor offshore. The Portuguese explorers, led by Nuno Tristão, came not just with curiosity, but with a hunger for conquest. They carried steel, crossbows, and deception in their hearts. Some Africans were approached with false smiles, tricked by gifts and gestures of friendship. Others were ambushed in violence, spears no match for iron blades. In a storm of fear and betrayal, 12 souls were bound and dragged toward the waiting ships. Their cries filled the air, mothers reaching for sons, brothers fighting to the last breath, elders watching helplessly as strangers carried away their kin. Those 12 captives would never again see the shores of Cabo Branco. They were taken across the sea, paraded in Portugal as trophies, proof of power, proof of conquest. Yet what the Portuguese celebrated was, in truth, the birth of a wound that would scar the world. This was the first chapter of the transatlantic slave trade, a system that would rip millions from their homelands and scatter them into centuries of suffering. It began with 12 lives stolen, 12 voices silenced, 12 chains fastened. But from those 12, a shadow spread across continents, reshaping nations and breaking generations. This is not just history, it is a wound still felt, a reminder of how greed can shatter humanity. And it began on the shores of Cabo Branco. Some stories don't just end, they stay with you long after the screen fades. If this one stays with you, tell me in the comments. And before you go, subscribe and walk with me into the next story. We're just getting started.